Morning guys, morning, good morning. Welcome to Sip and Chat with Azem and Jade right here on the Sugar Factory. Of course, I'm Azem and I'm sitting next to Jade, Gwenny, Dito, CPL, Martha, Stewart, Singers Beyonce,
I hate you.
Slim West,
Johnson. You noticed?
But that was the name.
Oh my gosh, listen, you don't boost me up this morning here, boy.
Bear in mind, I was supposed to add hey to Jade and I didn't.
You shouldn't.
I didn't.
No,
so,
we're not doing that.
Yeah, guys, but thank you so much for logging on. We are here. Yeah, and I'm getting ready for this this show this morning. Big shout out to all the people who know to use the roundabouts correctly. Big shout.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's how. Listen, they deserve it.
Yeah, you guys are the real MVP this morning. We'll be celebrating proper roundabout usage all day today. Speaking of traffic, last night I saw an accident. I was very scared about that.
You know what happened? This is I was supposed to look at the fence who was passing. You talking about the same accident?
I don't know which accident you're talking about. Cause we wouldn't have seen. There was one at the airport.
Yeah.
But we didn't pass there.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was the fence going along the gas station.
No.
Oh,
Also, there's pictures out.
A video.
Wow, I saw the accident. Like it seemed as though shortly after it happened. I was so scared. But when I passed, there were a few people out by the vehicle, and when I stopped before I could even ask if everybody good, they just give me the thumbs up. So I was like, okay.
Listen, I honestly thought it was the fence going along the gas station because I feel like that's like a hot spot for accidents. Or
they want on New Road.
Where that was?
New Road, when you're coming down New Road.
Where the accident was?
When you're coming down New Road, just before, so you know when you're coming down towards town from the New Road area, you pass the gate that carries you into the tower, right? A little way down, almost when you get to that road that takes you up to where the children's park is. So on that left-hand side. That's
okay, I understand.
Yeah,
but what I thought it was, you know that road is where the gas station is, that people always running into either wall-wise or something like.
Oh, okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right from when you come from my house.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, no. It definitely wasn't the.
That's what I thought it was. So I was looking to see like. But yeah, the accident looked rough.
I don't know. I don't even know how it happened. I remember I was on the phone with somebody at the time, and I made a noise, and they were like, "What happened? You okay?" Like they thought something happened to me, like just because I was like, "What?"
You squealed?
I was like,
"Oh."
Yeah. So it was definitely something. Oh, like that. But. But yeah, so that was definitely the thing. So people, we say it all the time. I think it's important to keep saying it. Be careful on the road.
Be very, very careful.
Be careful on the road. I don't know what happened in this situation, however.
Drive for you and
But
other
not only
people.
that, there had to be speed involved. There was no way the vehicles have ended up the way it ended up without speed being involved. So, yeah,
I always think about that, boy. Like I don't know. I think it's because I'm not the driver. I always think about accidents from the person who is driving's perspective. Like, so I'm very wary of people who are not paying attention and driving cautiously and stuff. Because in my head is it's not only your life, it's mine. And suppose like my Sunday or like, you know. So
I have been in situations where I remember I had this friend who used to eat lunch at my house. You know, we're schoolmates and everything. And once we started working, with the families were close, he would eat lunch at my house. We didn't work at the same place, but we'll all eat together at lunchtime. And so sometimes sister was younger, she was still in school at the time. I remember one day he's taking my sister back to school and I'm going wherever I'm going, I'm driving behind them. And this is my good friend, like my brother. And I just wait until he pull up by the school. 'Cause I was going wherever I was going, I don't remember. But I remember deciding that whatever it is I was about to do could wait. And I pull up behind him and I say, watch you. As good as we be king, if you ever drive my sister like that again, it's gonna be a real problem.
you know what I realize?
It's gonna be a real problem, G.
You know what? You know how I usually know that men serious when they start to call the friend king. I was like, oh, that was a fight.
Yeah. But yeah, I think guys have some words. Like,
Let that king start to fly. Oh God.
Yo, king.
But I understand.
Sometimes when I say G too, for a lot of people not so much, but for me, I know for me, if I start uncontrollably referring to you by an alphabet letter,
your patience very short.
Yeah, I'm at a point where this could easily turn into something. Yeah.
But I understand the feel like it's crazy watching people drive insane already, but knowing that there's somebody that you hold close to you, and they're just driving them like there's a bag of potato. Nah, that pisses me off.
As a matter of fact, a few weeks ago, I'm driving. And I remember the vehicle, we were in a residential area, so we weren't on the main road or anything. So I'm driving behind this vehicle. And tell me, why is it that from behind the vehicle, there is an obvious toddler just waving at me? Like, not through the glass, like hanging through the window, Jade.
Sorry? I thought you meant like back glass.
No, Jade.
Like you see how them white people that have the dogs?
The dog, Jay, the same kind of energy. Fido. We had a Fido, except his name was probably like Tikwani or something.
Tikwani.
Like he looked like a Tikwani. I don't know. I didn't ask. So I start like resting my hand in my hand.
What's that? What am I to say?
Rest me hand in the backside. And so I start blowing. The person eventually pulls off, and I get out of my vehicle, walk up to the vehicle, and Jade, as angry as I was, I approached this situation, right? I would say my exact words were, hey, the child isn't strapped in, the child hanging out at the back of the window. Like, that's what I said. The child hanging out the window in the back. Yeah. And the person just look at me and be like, I don't tell him sit down, you know. Like that's.
How about you make sure he sits down? How about you as the adult in the situation? Strap him in.
I was so lost because at this point I'm like, so you knew that he was hanging out the window. That's basically what you're telling me. You knew he was hanging out the window.
Not even the fact that he's not strapped in, you know, that he's hanging out the window.
Yeah, and the smiling at me. The smiling at me and waving, Jade. So, at this point, I decided, you know what? Perhaps I could help. I could help. So I told Tikwani, we call him Tikwani for purposes of this discussion. I said, Tikwani, look, it's dangerous when you're standing up in the back of the car and your mommy driving or whatever. And I said, the lady, I said, miss, you got a button where you just press, right? And you stop the windows from coming down. You know what the woman tell me? So behind the don't get hot. At that point,
Sorry,
I walk
I
out.
didn't want to judge. Sorry.
At that point, whatever happen, you know, I gone here. I just walk out. I say, miss, press the button, turn the window. If you want your son either be like cool or dead.
And I feel like they're on some very far spectrums, like
But different people have different
hot
priorities, Jade.
and dead ain't even close.
People have different priorities, Jade.
Oh, well, you know, it's your child.
Yeah.
And I hopefully would like to keep him around as long as possible, but
Well,
hey.
you know, after that, I just let him there drive off here, because I didn't even want to drive behind him. I took another route.
Next thing you know, you're involved. Oh, you see. You don't traumatize me.
Watch out. I am not interested in any squash tikwani.
Wow.
The woman asked me, if behind there, you're going to get hot.
Wow. You see, you're better than me because I would have cussed out.
You would have cussed out?
I would have cussed
Nah,
out.
man.
I think it's the hot comment would have triggered me because I'm already annoyed, right? With the fact that you clearly don't care if your child in the car or not. And your responses, your responses going to really be the deciding factor in this. Because it could have been that she's struggling to get him to sit down, you know, them kind of stuff.
Be driving without the car seat anyway.
Yes, and she probably didn't know about the button. She could have not known about the button.
So that was my take on it. My take was maybe you don't know like the importance of the child lock and the window lock, right? So let me just the woman asked me if behind there and get hot. I just said, let me stand the window, press the button. You know, I can't.
You know why you're right. I probably wouldn't have cussed her out. You know why? Because I'm at the point where I'm exercising a lot more patience with people, and it's because of my son. I used to not. I just used to. You may think you knew me pre-Jaden.
No.
I was terrible. I ain't gonna
I was terrible. I love that.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was a whole terrorist, and because of Jaden, like I just have a lot more patience. I'm still working on it because men are why toddlers is like your natch nemesis, your arch nemesis as a parent. I know when it's speaking from having a toddler. I don't know. They say the teenage years worse.
That's what they say.
However, maybe they it. So currently, the toddler years, them 3, 2, however old.
They say terrible twos, and then I guess that takes you to like maybe 5 years old or 6.
Oh my God.
I don't know, Jade. Like I don't know. I feel like those scenarios. I just see some parents dealing with some situations, and they'll be like, I don't know how I would have dealt with this. You know?
Same.
I see some people in the supermarket sometimes. You know, the one that does really get to me, like when I go to some place and like especially a business place, and there's just like a young child, generally a boy. Boys seem to have a lot of energy.
Oh my gosh.
Just running wild, like literally just running wild, Jade. And like everybody except the parents seem to notice. The parent is trying to conduct the business normally while the child is literally burning on the place.
Because
he's like, miss, he got blood torch, miss.
The parents are accustomed to this child. This child's unhingedness, right? That sometimes they just have to work through it. Like, you know, you have business to conduct. If you stop to deal with this child, you're going to stop 5 times before you get the business done because your child is going to listen for 2 seconds and resume whatever unhinged behavior they previously were depicting. So just for you to get through this 10 seconds of filling out this form, you have to let him burn down everything.
That's how it goes?
I'm assuming for them parents. Because it can't be that they can't hear. They could hear the child. As if we could hear the child, they could hear the child.
Because sometimes I'll be like, I wonder if it's a matter that they just walk out, but I wait till I get you home and wash.
That too, you know.
I wait till I get you home.
Because, you know, you can't really, well, not that you can't really.
Let me get through this because when I catch you.
Oh my God. Trust me, Azem, those little boys, I don't know when you little boys these, but it's like they came with supercharged batteries.
Yeah, I see, and the opposite is true. I see some parents who really take the time, and you could tell that there is familiarity with the discipline, right? So for instance, I went into, that's the one, it's one of the places sell clothes or whatever, right? And there was this little boy who was running up and down. And the mother was trying to do what she's doing, and she's trying to calm him down or whatever. Let me tell you something. When the mother, like, watch him and tell him, go outside.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you know, sorry, by that time, you know, like, but he knows the drill.
Oh,
so
dear.
I'm curious and I'm looking at it now. And she said he walks outside, head down.
Because you don't know what time it is.
And mommy come outside. But I thought what happened is, mommy gonna wash him out. I thought mommy was gonna wash him out. But it seemed as though, like, what she did was talk to him, whatever, and he out there, yes. Like, he's shaking his head, yes, and telling him, don't shake your head. Answer me, yes, mommy, but mom, you understand why right now and the thing. And she had a whole conversation with him for like a good 2 minutes.
He know the speech.
And then he came back in and she asked him, do you want to sit down or can I allow you to stand? And he said, I want to stand, mommy. And then so she, like, but you could tell that that's how she generally deals with it, because he knew the procedure.
She probably actively threatened that child, you know?
No, I was listening to this conversation.
Oh, there was no threats of...
No, there was no threats or anything. No, it was literally, and that's what I'm saying, like, you could tell based on his responses. She said, because she was asking him questions like, why is it important for you to listen to me? But if I listen to you, bad things can happen, because I don't know. So he knew the responses, so he's like, right, so why aren't you doing it?
I think, and you know, I don't think they're willful. I think it's because they're still developing
the impulse control.
Oh my gosh, God should have just give them that from early. Why would you wait till they like turn into adults to start giving them this gift?
You have to learn discipline. You have to learn.
That's fine. Impulse control could have been one of the things you give them though.
No, the impulse control is discipline. You're disciplining your reactions to what's going on. That's all part of discipline. So
okay, then you could have given them discipline then. If that's the case, just give them the full package. You can't wait till they reach a certain age for that like for them to unlock a character. This ain't a video game. You know how ridiculous it is to have to explain to a 2-year-old why they shouldn't try to touch a hot stove to unalive themselves constantly. Kids do not care about that, Azem.
Yeah, they don't have that frame of reference, so.
No.
They don't have
you know how you know how I learned why fire was dangerous? Why are you laughing at me?
But I love these stories. Do tell, Jade.
Wow. So I always wanted to know how fire felt, right?
Right.
Yeah, and one day... I'm going to stop sharing my stories with you. This is no longer a safe space for my stories.
I just met you, Jade. Talk to me. You could talk to me, Jade. So, I took a box of matches and I lit one and I put my finger in it. And I just held it there. Okay. Yeah. Wasn't too bad, right? Sounds terrible. No, it felt terrible. It did. But at least I learned. Yeah, at least you didn't light something on fire and try to like... That came after. We get like that though. Oh. Yeah, you ever try burning your house? Nope. Accidentally, not willfully, by playing with fire? Nope. Huh. So man, maybe I'm cousin and by. Nope. Something might be just wrong with me and them John situation. Because I started to realize like a lot of things that people thought was normal. Like in my household, you couldn't even consider them things. My father was playing them games here. Neither ours. My father wasn't playing them games. But guess what? All. We just didn't consider the fact that we would have gotten caught. Oh no. My father prides himself on being part detective, part financial advisor. I think my uncle was too. Yeah, he's a detective. So I knew most likely whatever I getting into, maybe that's why I got very okay with just dealing with the consequences of my actions. Because I knew I had to, like for me it became what I know is like opportunity cost. Like I would do things and then kind of figure out. Yikes. And I'm coming behind this boy. I know I'm coming, but is it worth it? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I would have that internal debate with myself. So I would, So I know I'm gonna get licks. I know I'm gonna get licks if I come home late. Like I know. But if I come home late, that means I get to play more football. I get to watch Dragon Ball Z. Sip and chat with Azem and Jade, and yeah, we've been having some technical difficulties now and again. So sometimes you see the stream either like pauses or it might restart or another link. But yeah, just know we're working on it, and we'll get it organized. But Jade, before we went on break, we were talking just about like socializing and how important it is, like especially for children in their context to like kind of know what's going on so they could be relevant in the social circles. And I know for a fact like that's something that could be heavy at children when they're just in and they know. Yeah. You feel like an outcast.
Yep.
You feel like an outcast. I wonder what it is now, like what it is that at one point it used to be in one circle for me was like music. You kind of wanted to know what the hot songs were, like, and who knew who the hot songs were kind of like the person who would kind of lead that conversation. So I used to always have like access to new songs from Jamaica, like especially when I was like in Fifth Farm and CFB and that kind of thing. I always had access to that. So. Yeah, maybe that's the only reason I was kind of liked in school.
I used to love music too, so and I only started knowing music when I moved to where my cousins lived in Newtown. After moving there is like my whole outlook on music changed because I was into like country country and stuff because that's why I had cable.
Right. You say you were like a VH1 baby basically. Yeah.
Whatever happening on VH1 on BET. What else they had? The Country Music Network.
Right.
That's why I used to.
That was your access to things. And I tell people this all the time. Up to last night, I was having this conversation about how, in some countries, how, for instance, country is such a huge thing, right? And rock music is such a huge thing. Part of it with us is the fact that we just don't have a lot of access to a lot of this music. So like we just act like as if because we're from the Caribbean, like we ain't like this music. No. If
Dixie Chicks by crazy.
If we had more, for instance, DJs that would play that type of music and thing. Even last night, a friend was telling me, how the rock. We were explaining to a friend how the rock scene in like Trinidad is. Like you have rock bands. People don't know like Kes was a rock band. Like people like you go to the club like on a Friday night and like in the middle of the soca like you'll just hear like a rock song popping in and everybody going crazy like.
That is song.
Yeah, like but that type of music is actually really popular, right? You go to, for instance, places like where have I seen it? Barbados, like you'll have like on a Friday night you'll just see all these people in like cowboy hats and cowboy boots, like going to like to line dance and stuff like that. Like,
you can line dance? You can't dance.
Like, no, come on, Jade, come on.
One person. Anyway, yeah,
my bad. I can line, circle, none of it, not like, I can't.
So you can't do like any of the quote unquote staple dances that black people know, like you can't Cupid shuffle. None of these things?
Jade.
Oh my God.
If you want to see me dance, give me my guitar and tell me play some music.
You just behave like they do it in Blind Eyes?
I don't think, like Rain Man, no.
Rain Man got vibes.
Rain Man. Hey, big Rain Man one time.
One of these days you should try it.
To behave like Rain Man?
Yeah.
It would just look weird.
For sure? Why?
No, I mean, I just enjoy myself, when I play. Like, I enjoy myself. But I think, especially with like Rain has an understanding that in his context, like that's kind of necessary. Especially like if they don't have a front man, like he's the front man, right? So like yeah, because even when he was always thing, and that's been a VA thing, eh? Like the bass man always just kind of come to the front because he's selling the music.
That.
Yeah, like that's a thing. Big up Junie one time, from Poison, right?
From Saying It's too?
No.
I assume all VA people from Saying It's.
Well, yeah, he probably got Sink It's roots, eh? He probably got Sink It's roots. But big up Junie one time from Poison. I think him and this other guy, I can't remember his name, but they started doing that kind of high bass thing what the VA people do. Then you started having guys like this guy Tafari, and Tafari is another one. Like he does be like, if the singer here, he out here. Like
I love it. I love that style. And I know we're not too accustomed to it here, but it's my cousins, friends. It's my cousins.
Yeah.
Though we need to get accustomed to just not seeing the whole mic man just dancing all over. Like it's good to see the other people in the band sometimes moving around.
Remember what Sucky used to do?
Oh yeah, we had Sucky.
Yeah, Sucky used to do it for sure.
Sucky definitely is a showman.
Boy, that man hard,
Yeah, Sucky definitely.
Bring back Sucky, man. Somebody bring back Sucky. I don't know what happened, but bring him back.
Sucky is a showman.
That's the first entertaining bassman. He's a bassman?
Yeah, he's a bassman.
First entertaining bassman I've ever seen.
Oh.
First, not only, eh?
Yeah, I don't have fun when I perform and dance and thing, but yeah, I mean for me I think it's about context, right? So I don't think, especially in the context where like back now we support artists, we accompanying artists, so like I don't think I'm supposed to pull attention away from the artist.
I get it. You're a different type of band.
Yeah, but even in other bands, like sometimes it's like you can, especially if you don't have a frontman that has the personality to compete with that, then I think you should probably You kind of have to. You should probably draw attention to the front man, like the front man, like the lead singer, like the person who carry in the vibe of the party, right? So, yeah, I think sometimes it is getting. I've seen it where, like, you come off the stage and nobody even realize like the singer was up there, and it's like,
Yikes.
Yeah, but I remember, for instance. Like, rest in peace, Kylo. Like, you know, Kylo used to play with like swanks and thing before, but big band. And yeah, but he
was so good.
but he had a personality. He had a personality that and a stage presence. I think people like Pumpa, like you can't outshine Pumpa.
You definitely can't.
Yeah, you can't.
Even if you try.
Pumpa. Yeah, you can't outshine.
That's a hard one right there.
Yeah. But at the same time, with Pumpa doing all of that. Like, to have somebody over here trying to do something else.
Yeah, gonna be too much.
Yeah. So it all depends on context. Like,
yeah.
For me. It all depends on context.
Pumpa is such a good artist. I'm so happy that he gets the recognition that he deserves because he has been working, man. Yeah, I love Pumpa vibes. Not the Kitishan. Listen, we got lots of Kitishan soca artists on the easy scale, you know.
Well, the funny thing about it for me is that's a conversation that comes up from time to time. Why somebody would ask me, why is it that I feel that the artists from St. Kitts tend to reach further and go further when they leave St. Kitts?
Maybe opportunities. Maybe we like to see people strive outside of the country first.
No, but I don't think when Pumpa was singing in down there, people was going like, oh. I don't think St. Kitts people was even paying attention to what he was doing down there when he was with what did that name? Extortion or whatever.
That's my point. Maybe they need to see them blow up outside before they start to pay attention.
No, I'm saying, but he got his recognition, built his name or whatever. I don't think St. Kitts people was even paying attention, and I don't think VA people was really paying attention to the fact he was from St. Kitts either. So
what do you think then?
No, I think that the environment here doesn't lend itself to that. I mean, if you're trying to tell me Suki could get a green card, well, not Suki could get a green card, but Suki could be touring up along the place to the point he get locked up in different islands.
Suki's a rock star.
But our band's struggling to move around, maybe traveling 6 or 7 times a year.
Until they have to ask the boss for permission to come do interviews and stuff like that. Like,
no.
Yeah.
No,
I really wish it was different though. Like, I really wish there was an avenue for them to be able to succeed in a different way. Like, you see how Trinidad value soca, like value soca to the point where I know they put a lot of resources into it. I wish we had that same thing here with like music.
And the thing is, I don't blame the government, eh?
No, I ain't blaming the government.
Yeah,
I just mean just resources in general.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that I think even more so than the government, I believe the mindset of the creatives here, I think also the mindset of the just general public. And I don't even think it's just a matter of music and artists and musicians and that kind of thing. I think as a country, we really don't value art. No. We don't give art the respect that it deserves. And I think there's a frown. I think we frown on people who take the step to even explore that as a way to earn and stuff like that. So how many parents would send their child to like music class, but don't let a child come and say, yeah, mommy, I think I want to be a musician. But you're sending them to this class for the last 12 years. But for some strange reason now, this is that skill that you had them develop for all the time. Now don't try to use that to make some money. So it's like, and I think the same thing goes with like even visual art and stuff like that. So you could let them do art in school, but then don't dare tell me you're an artist. That's like saying, I did business in school, but then don't tell me you want to be a businessman. I did computers in school, but don't tell me you want to be an IT technician. Don't you understand? Like, it don't really. Yeah, so, but I think it's because of lack of appreciation and value in it. And so, I think we don't love music here. We don't.
We don't love music here?
No. Jade, we don't like music.
So we like?
We don't like music is an accessory. Music is a thing that we put on is an accompaniment to me. You could tell me if I'm wrong, right?
I hope it's all by.
Music is an accompaniment to whatever we're doing. So you're washing your dishes, you put on some music. You're driving in your car, you put on some music. You special someone coming over, you put on some music.
Ooh.
Right? You want to party and socialize, you put on
That's
some music.
Yeah.
It's not, so the act of sitting and appreciating music for music isn't something that we generally do. Music
is all for entertainment.
Music is always an accessory to something that we're doing. So every Saturday morning, you put on your steel pulse and you clean your house because are you lucky doobie because Sunday morning come, yeah, it's time for my Sunday morning vibes. I put on some music and I put on some Lucky Doobie and some Bob Marley. That's my Sunday playlist. And we don't like music. We don't appreciate music in a way that is why we don't have platforms for music to be displayed and thing. We don't have like community stages and things that you would see in other societies, for instance, music halls and them kind of thing. It don't exist in our society. Music is just something that we do. I mean,
oh, that made me so sad.
why? That's just nobody's sad about it. Everybody happy. Everybody happy the way it is, except for the people that trying to do this.
That's what I'm sad for.
Yeah.
Because I never thought of that. I never thought of how they felt with seeing how people treat music.
I mean, I don't even think a lot of us, and I say us because I'm involved in music, I don't think a lot of us really appreciate it that way either. I mean, even last night I was having a conversation with somebody about particular artists, you know, locally based artists here. And they're asking questions about, oh, why this person ain't bossing and why this person ain't this and why. I'm like, that person tell you they want boss now? That person probably very comfortable with that right now with what they're doing. Like they're probably pretty good. Like maybe they're not interested in leaving St. Kitts to go and perform for people who can stand up and don't know any of their songs. Maybe they're not interested in having to sacrifice not seeing their loved ones for Christmas and New Year's and birthdays. Maybe they're good. Maybe they're good making $8,000 a month consistently, $10,000 a month consistently, which is very reasonable and attainable for top artists. Now bear in mind, that's maybe the top 1% of artists, right? But those are the artists you're asking me about. So maybe they're comfortable.
Yeah, maybe they're just, I think
sometimes we want things for people that they don't want for themselves.
Yeah, we do that a lot. We do that a lot. But we have to take a break, friend, because we have we have a guest here to talk to us about some very interesting things happening with our police and fire force. So,
police and fire force.
Yes.
After you done talk about how you must burn on your people in the house? Okay, cool.
Yes.
What a coincidence.
Wow.
But guys, we're going to take a short break and be right back with more Sip and Chat. Stick and stay, don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back to Sip and Chat right here at the Sugar Factory. And as you can see, we're being joined by a guest this morning. I was asking him his correct name, but since I value...
That sounded like a setup,
since I value the tip of my tongue,
Same.
I'll introduce him as what he is known by many of us as Shaq. Good morning, Shaq. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing pretty well.
Would you like to tell the people your correct name so they can know?
Right, my correct name is Ramon Benjamin, but everybody knows me as Shaq, so feel free.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, I mean, appreciate you coming and hanging out with us this morning. And I think that the reason you're here is actually pretty important, as you're here representing the St. Kitts Police and Fire, what is it, Fire Rescue Services?
St. Kitts and Nevis.
St. Kitts and Nevis, and
Police
it's the
and
Police.
Fire Retirees Association.
Ah, awesome. Well, I mean, well, now we know that this association exists.
Indeed.
And of course, tell us a bit about the association and maybe what is it that the goals of the association are.
Right, so the association really is a group of retired persons who came together to lend support to persons that would have retired. After speaking to persons who would have retired, persons presently who was a part of the association, before they retired, they would have been visiting persons who are retired and found out that they were not too happy and they needed some sort of support. So that is why the association was formed, to lend support to these persons that are retired.
Well, I think that's important, because if you lend your life to service of a nation, I feel like there must be something after. It can't just be I spend all these years, you know, keeping the country safe and fire-free and violence-free, and then after that it's just nothing. So I think what the association is doing is super important, and I have to commend you guys for taking that step.
Definitely, Jade, and thanks. We know persons after retirement, they think that's it, that they are done, but we are here as an association to let persons know that there's actually life after retirement.
Well, I mean, part of it is the fact that when you are involved in something as important as policing and fire and rescue services, like, that is a huge part of your life up until then. So I could imagine that there must be an adjustment that comes when you've, you know, transitioned out of like active service. What are some of the challenges that the association would have recognized? You know, some of the situations that some of these retirees might have been in, and ways that you guys are looking to actually to help.
Right. So, you know, some of these persons, like you said, would have spent all their lives in the system, and recognizing some of the challenges were that persons, after they've retired, you know, their finances now are shortened. And persons were having difficulties, you know, supplying themselves with as simple as foodstuff. So the association recognized that, and some of the other challenges, persons look to the association for support in terms of their loved one, unfortunately may pass away. You know, they look to the association for that support as well.
Okay, okay. So recognizing that even just in terms of the transition, you know, emotionally, physically, sometimes even financially, there's a bit of an adjustment that happens there, and the association seeks the help in that way. Oh, that's awesome. That's
Right?
awesome.
Definitely.
I think having support after you come out of what can be seen as a very traumatic career, it helps you to just deal with your day-to-day, because it's such a stark difference from going through that. You know, you have to, every day you get up, you know, your mind in saving the world mode, I guess.
Right.
And now it's just, you're just home, probably just sitting down, not doing as much, or, you know, the excitement that came from that job isn't there anymore. So having people to just even, you know, be around you to lend that support and to speak to about different challenges, I think this is beneficial to whoever retires out of the force.
Definitely, it is beneficial. And we want to speak also to the persons who intend to resign, to let them know that there is such an organization to lend the support after they would have retired.
Okay. So, of course, now we start talking about the people who the association intends to reach and what's kind of the goals of the association. But who are some of the members, who are some of the people who are involved in actually the running of the organization, executive, etc.?
Right. The executive is made up of 7 persons. We have the person, Mr. Austin Williams, that's the president. We have McLean Hobson, vice president. Joseph Richardson, treasurer. Natalie Fo, secretary. We have Leroy Benjamin, chaplain. We have Ivor Blake, member, and yours truly, PRO. So that makes up the executive.
Okay, okay, nice.
Solid team, man.
Nice. And is this something that you know, interested persons can join, can somehow contribute to? Like, how does it work for persons who might hear what you guys are doing and want to be a part? What are some ways in which they could also be a part of what's happening?
Of course, we always invite persons to join, but more so retired persons. Remember, it's the Police and Fire Retirees Association. So, of course, they are free to join at any time. But, however, because we are a non-profitable organization, we do encourage persons to donate to the association so that the association can reach out to its members. And we even try to step out of the association into the community where we are seeking to provide scholarship for some deserving persons in the community. As we know, the community plays a big role, a major role in passing information to the police and the fire department.
For sure.
So definitely we are looking ways in which we can get these persons scholarships.
Well, I mean, just from what you're saying, it does seem as though there is a concerted effort by the association to be impactful, and I'm happy to hear that it's not only on the actual retirees of these organizations, but you say even the wider community.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, what about people who may have retired and traveled overseas? You know, they migrated for vacation, or you know, they just felt like overseas would be better for them to retire. Do you guys still keep in contact with them?
Of course, we try to reach out to those folks as well. Now, each member of the association knows someone who would have retired and traveled overseas. So what we do, we encourage our members to keep in touch with those persons and encourage them to join the association, even though they are not living in St. Kitts Nevis, they can be a part of the association still. So we do encourage our members to speak to them and encourage them to join the association.
So what's that process like though, for persons who are, you know, retirees and want to become a member? What's that process like?
Well, it's a very simple process. All you have to do is contact any one of the executive members. You get an application form. You fill that application form, return it with a small fee of just $20.
Oh,
wow.
Too reasonable.
Oh, wow.
Right, for registration.
I might just join the police force to retire.
No.
Don't do that?
No, that's not.
Right, it's just
I like a deal, Jade.
Yeah, you can't put too much on your knees though, don't forget.
right, it's just $20 for registration, and then there's an annual subscription fee of $150, just $12.50 per month.
Too easy, Jade. Too easy.
You know what? Go ahead and join, friend.
Yeah, I think so. I got to write like a 12,000 word essay or anything?
No?
Definitely not.
Does he have to like pass some course, anything like that?
Well, of course you do an examination to get into the police force.
That might be the problem.
Right.
But we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. Well, what about the people who are already a part of the association? How often do you guys meet?
Right, we meet every month, the last week in every month.
Okay.
However, due to COVID, you know, yes, the dreadful COVID, we were not able to meet as often. However, we conducted virtual meetings. But we are seeking to resume face-to-face meetings very, very shortly. I think a memo has been already sent out to the members indicating that face-to-face meeting will be held on the 29th of this month.
Okay, just around the corner.
Yeah.
So that would be a good time if, you know, if you are someone you know is a retiree of the police force or the fire rescue services, now would be a good time to probably reach out and if you're interested in becoming a member.
So what about, I know we said police and fire, but what about people like who work at the port and stuff like that?
You know, that's a very good question, because just recently I thought about that. Not only the port, but we have the prison, we have the defense force, and perhaps we can go back to the drawing board and see if we can incorporate those persons as well.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just the security forces, I think they play such an important role. Sometimes, of course, not celebrated. Sometimes, of course, more vilified and all of that, right? But I do think that even with all of that, when persons transition out of, you know, the security services, sometimes there's a tendency to sometimes get a little forgotten.
Yeah.
Definitely. But that is why the association was formed. So these persons are not forgotten. And they definitely know that they have that support system, so that after they would have retired, they know that they can go somewhere where they can be remembered.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, of course, when we start talking about organizations like the police, like the fire and rescue services, when they were involved, the members, of course, were involved in these organizations, there would have been, you know, a strict code of conduct and these things that they had to adhere to. With this, from what you're saying, it's voluntary. Does that provide any challenges? And if so, like, what are some of the ways that the association tries to address some of these challenges?
Well, definitely it is. Because it's voluntary, of course, you're going to have some challenges, because you can't force people to do anything, because it's voluntary. And one of the challenges to get people to simply attend meetings.
Yeah, that's
right.
Once in the group or association, that's a thing.
Right.
And people don't like meetings anyway.
Right, we can't get persons to attend these meetings. Like you said, being in the police and the fire, you have no choice when you are told about these meetings. You have no choice, but because it's voluntary, like I said, persons are having difficulties, you know, attending the meetings. Also, we have difficulties having persons paying the membership fee.
Right.
So we do want to use this opportunity to encourage persons to pay up their fees, their dues. I mean, it's important to keep the association going.
I think if you recognize the importance of the association, or even just believe in the goals of the association that you so clearly outlined, I think you should want to not only be a part of it, but also do what you can, even if just the little that is asked. Attend the meetings, pay your dues, you know, be active in the group, you know, to help see those goals come to get achieved and attained, right?
Yeah, and I think too often we have associations that are super important to the community, but because people just, I don't know, if they don't see the importance within themselves, or they just feel like, oh, it's just another group. They don't realize what this group can do in the long run. Like, they don't see the bigger picture of having groups like these start and be successful.
You know what I think it is, though? And I mean, based on maybe internal conversations, or maybe even just conversations with members or people from other groups, one of the things I recognize is that it seems that sometimes people, they genuinely want to see the success of organizations like this. But sometimes it almost feels as though the belief is it's someone else's responsibility, or someone else is more qualified, or someone else is, instead of really internalizing it and personalizing it and saying that, like, well, I have a responsibility. You think that sometimes one of the issues, example, is like it's somebody else to kind of, well, y'all doing good, like, that kind of thing.
Definitely, I mean, you hit the nail right on its head. Persons always believing that, oh, it's not my responsibility, it's him, because he's the president. It's his responsibility. Because he's the PRO, it's his responsibility.
Right. Yeah, and I think once we start recognizing that, you know, associations such as this, the strength of the association really depends on collaboration between, you know, its members and the people involved. I think we really would see a change in some of that behavior, because I think it's not even something that's unique to this association. But I'm happy to hear that at least it's something that's recognized and you guys are actively working to to try and change that.
So how do people keep up to date with the association? Where can they find you and get into contact with you if they have questions?
That's another good question. Unfortunately, at this point, the association does not have a Facebook page, but we are working on it. The only platform we're on is WhatsApp.
Okay.
And that's how our members communicate mostly. So in the near future, persons can look out for us on social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Oh, you're going to be busy, man.
Of course. Yes, of course.
But even now, you said, reaching out to one of the executive members is probably the quickest and easiest way to get information and to even sign up and become a member. So how do you contact? What's the way to?
Well, definitely you can contact myself, Piero, at 663 all zeros.
Okay, well, what's your number, bye? You prefer that now?
Got to be.
Bye.
Mr. Lucky Man.
No, it is a genuine number. It is a genuine number, so I don't want folks to believe that because it's all zeros, it's not genuine. It is a genuine number.
663.
So they can always, and it's a number that is easily remembered.
Right, exactly.
It's easily remembered, so you can call me at any time, and I'll be sure to.
If it's one number, I remember it. Many number, my mother number, I know you want. Imagine that.
You get the pick of the drummer. Wow.
But yeah, guys, I mean, like I said, if you are someone who was involved in these associations or know someone who has been involved in one of the security forces, police or the fire and rescue, here is a great opportunity for them to be a part of a community that really seeks to add value to the retired portion of this person's life. I think this is a great opportunity for them to take advantage of.
Definitely.
And really, like you said, the goals of the association are quite admirable, and I really would love to see, that those goals become, a real reality and continue to do what you guys are doing.
Community is important.
Of course.
Indeed. Any final words before we wrap?
Yes. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage persons, as I did just now, to join the association, and not only persons who would have retired, but persons who are thinking about retiring.
Okay.
Earlier you would have asked about our challenges, and one of our major challenges is having a place to call our home.
Oh.
And we are desperately seeking a place to call our home. I know we had a meeting with the Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Terence Joe, and he would have given his assurance that he is going to assist us in getting a place to call our home. So we are still hopeful that we'll get somewhere to call our home.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, and I'm sure, as you said, if people want to contribute as well, would you be someone they could also reach out to at the same number for persons? So even if you're not someone who served in the forces but want to contribute to this organization, I'm sure they'll welcome your contributions.
Of course. Of course.
So feel free to reach out and let them know that you're interested in doing just that. But Shaq, I mean, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being a part of what it is that you guys are doing here with the association. Thank you for being a part of the show this morning.
Definitely.
Yeah, you come in here playing like guitar.
Listen, I don't know why you do all of this, I have one more question for you before we leave, though. You speak Spanish?
Un poquito.
Oh, you better, Can't just have that name, boy.
But guys, it's been a pleasure. Again, please look out for the social media that's about to come. Reach out to the association, both persons who are looking to retire, retirees, people who want to give back and be a part of what it is the association is doing. And of course, we're going to take a break now as we wrap up the show in a few minutes. So stick and stay. Don't go anywhere, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to Sip and Chat right here on the Sugar Factory. And it's still me, Azem, and of course, Jade is here still.
You know, I like your shirt, friend.
Yeah, I like the shirt.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't like your shirt, them, you know, but I can't fit in them.
What? You want you want me shirt, Jade?
I mean,
Why is it, tell me about this thing with women that taking up man clothes.
they're cute.
And we like it, so yeah, we like it. Like man does act like we ain't like it, yeah, but
Be for real.
we like it, like we like it. Fellas, sorry for laying it out,
Cutting out
but
kind of style.
it really don't stop anything. You could just
You
admit
think
that you
I
like
just be walking around in all them good clothes for free? That's advertisement for us. Watching the wardrobe in real time. So we don't look at the body, you know?
Yeah. When the girls them teeth your boxers and then like send the picture afterwards.
I don't like a nice boxer pic now and again.
So I'm telling you, we like it.
Yeah,
We like
I know I like it. I don't know if it is that one.
No, I like it when we got the little style, but we like it. We like it. Sure.
Bye, oh bye.
Jade, what we have on the lovely agenda?
Well, guess where music festival is headed?
Should I pretend to not know this?
Yes, please. For the sake of the show.
Let's see. Old Road?
Oh, no, friend. Too far.
Too far?
Too far. Cold.
Back to Fort Thomas?
That would not be wise. No.
Yeah,
We might fall off. The cliff there. That's not. Nah.
Well, tell me where, Jade.
Well, we are headed back to Warner Park Cricket Stadium.
What?
Yes.
Imagine that.
Right down the road from me. Love it. Love it. Many people have to come.
You're gonna stay over my
I just have to go outside.
Okay.
Well, be prepared for 3 nights of musical magic as we set the stage for the world-renowned Warner Park Cricket Stadium for the highly anticipated 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival, June 22nd to the 24th of 2023. The St. Kitts Music Festival Committee recently unveiled the first wave of artists for the 2023 edition to the phenomenal applause locally and internationally. I would really like them to release the rest. The anticipation is killing me. Okay, so let's
get that done. Yeah.
Chronics, yeah man. Chronics, Air Supply, Coffee, Skinny Fabulous, Patrice Roberts, Skilly Bang. That's a name. That's an actual name. Oh, I love it.
I love it too, actually. I think that's an amazing name.
Like, where would you even, you know what?
Some of the best things just happened, Jane.
Clearly. Grandmasters Band, Byron Messiah, Governor, I hope they perform together, and Valiant have been announced as the first tranche of sensational entertainers who will be a part of an exciting slate of artists for the St. Kitts Music Festival 2023 lineup.
Okay. Well, I think this is all just kind of leading up and building anticipation for the event. I think it's going to be, a great time. I think the music festival has become like a staple event, not only just in St. Kitts but across the region. So, yeah, people definitely looking forward to what's to come. I
need them to revisit that lineup that COVID stole from us.
We're getting some of them this year, though. So. No, remember the coffee wasn't that one?
I thought you mean like.
I don't know. I don't even remember who all was coming, but I know we're getting some from that. Obviously.
I know we had Whiskey, we had Future. I think we had Coffee. You might be.
I think we're getting to the point, Jade, where we're gonna have to recognize that. I don't know how many more rappers we're gonna see on the music festival. Like for one. The BET Awards generally is the same weekend as music festival.
That is true.
So that'll tie up a lot of artists, right? Because even if they're not on the show, there's all the parties, all the industry events.
Stuff to do.
Yeah. However, the main thing is like when they come here and tell them we can't keep bringing rappers and then locking them up.
Oh my God, that don't make no sense.
Yeah, but
y'all know that y'all know the song they're singing.
Yeah, so I mean, so my thing would be like we're gonna have to just come to grips with the fact that there's probably gonna be a lot of like less and less rappers on the show. Like I mean,
that is understandable because I would not want for y'all to call me to do my job and then lock me up for the job that I do. No. So You might be correct. We might be seeing the age of rappers on the music festival coming to an end.
Yeah, less, but at least definitely less and less. Definitely less and less. Especially right now with the type of rappers that we're seeing. And when I say that, I'm talking about there's an obvious shortening of the period between I like rapping and I'm a huge artist. So you don't see as much.
It's quite short now.
Right, so you don't see as many artists who have real artist development that had spent a lot of time perhaps performing in some of these types of events where there's these kinds of constraints and things. So the expectation to then come and put them here without that level of maturity and experience and training, I think.
You have to bring some old rappers.
Yeah.
Just bring some old rappers.
Yeah.
We can do that. But where do we go next? So
I'm scared. Whenever you start smiling when you're looking at the whenever you start smiling like that, I just get so nervous.
why?
The anxiety starts building, Jade.
Why would you say that?
Okay, let me hear this one.
Okay, so we could talk about corruption in the Caribbean again.
Okay.
Because we'll have a good old corruption story. So, corruption contributing to illegal gun problem in the Caribbean. Or behind like Mr. Dr. Evil and Mr. Big.
So there's guns, eh?
Oh, remember the Dr. Evil song?
Yes.
Classic. Classic. So the issue of illegal guns entering borders of the Caribbean countries and its related violence were among the topics discussed at the Regional Security System RSS Council of Ministers meeting on Wednesday, where member states were told that the issue of corruption must also be treated to deal with the problem of illegal firearms. I think that's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The high-level meeting took place in Grenada. Executive Director, RSS, Commodore Errington Sherland, this is a grandpa's name if I've ever seen one, says while over the past year, the region has been relatively quiet in terms of member states not being impacted by climatic events or severe weather systems. He says there has been a noticeable increase in gun violence, which has had a deleterious effect on member states. So he's saying because we're on hurricanes, we're shooting people?
In part.
Interesting. Commodore Sherland said this violence is taking a heavy toll on societies, not only in respect of a loss of life, but also where injuries and psychological trauma. In replying to the challenge, he posits that hard and soft responses must be applied through a whole of society approach. Sir, let me stop you there. That ain't gonna happen. Because he's talking about Caribbean islands separately, coming together to solve a big problem. We don't go wrong. We don't go
You don't have a lot of faith?
No. Not also recent. I feel like with the things that we've saw, the things that we've seen from the pandemic to how to the bubble to CARICOM to Haiti, like it's just another thing on the list. And I don't think gun violence is high on the list enough for them to stop and come together for it.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think high on the list?
Regionally? Together?
Yeah.
It's a good question. Maybe food security? Maybe the issue of food security. Illegal immigrants, but that's just stopping them from entering each other's country.
Right. I think that is one that I believe where you're gonna see actual resources being pumped, like it as part of a regional response, right? You'll see some of those other things you talk about. You'll see money being pumped, but on a individual country, like
it's a country to country basis.
Yeah, country to country basis, not necessarily as part of overall strategy, which, remember I was talking about the need for us to coordinate in terms of the food security, perhaps determining different islands that can kind of at least focus on different crops and then have those crops be a part of a market that we set up, right, regionally. Don't think that's what I think should happen, but I don't know if it will.
So basically, we're coming together to stop each other from entering each other's countries.
That's basically the main thing.
As a region.
Yeah, while simultaneously touting integration as the actual main goal.
As if this has to be a joke.
Yeah,
it's quite hilarious if you think about it. We as the Caribbean are coming together to stop each other from entering each other's countries.
While simultaneously saying that the main thing we want to do is to integrate.
I have come, but not here.
No, they just want you to come a certain way. They want you to come a certain way.
I mean, that's understandable.
Yeah, and so I understand that. But in terms of what we're talking about with the gun violence, though, I think it's important what that's coming out of the conversations, though. I think what he's actually saying, right, which is, let me put it this way. Sometimes people say things in a way that goes over people's heads.
I went over mine, though.
Well, but let me ask you a question. What's your main takeaway from what he's saying?
The people in power, if they don't stop what they're doing, this whole thing is not going to stop.
Well,
because
I would say
I
would say it even clearer. I think he's actually straight up highlighting the fact that politicians.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it like that.
That politicians are involved in gun running.
I didn't want to say it like that. Is what the man say?
But I think that's exactly what he's saying.
No, that's exactly what he was saying.
He's going to say that in order for us to stop the illegal trafficking of the guns, that we need to deal with the issue of government corruption. Then what you're telling me is that government officials are the ones involved in gun running.
The man said there's the real Pablos out here, boy. Well.
And I think that is an important thing to highlight because I believe that it may rarely be something that is widely understood or widely believed, but generally not spoken about in that way.
No.
Right? Generally, I think.
Because if you think about if you think about the ways that drugs and guns are smuggled into the country, generally it's the people in power over them, you know.
That's what
exactly.
In other words, then, it would be difficult. It would be difficult to have the infrastructure in place, right? To see the types of smuggling and these kind of things that we see without cooperation from the powers that be.
Somebody with the highest power in the countries.
So this is what has usually happened. When people talk about this and people talk about gun violence and things, the issue of where the guns coming from always comes up, right? Which is a natural question to ask.
Of course, because we don't manufacture them.
We don't make guns here. So then generally that leads you to a conversation around the big man them got to be involved, is them bringing in the guns, is them this and them and thing, right? Generally though, when we talk about the big man them, like nobody actually knows who the big man them.
Who is a big man?
Yeah, who is the big man? So it's this kind of vague understanding or admittance that they are people of influence and people in power. The thing that makes this statement very interesting to me is that I think it's a direct shot at politicians.
Oh no, he was watching them dead in the eyes when he said this, man.
I think it's a direct shot at politicians. So there is an admittance. Now, bearing in mind, he speaks from a place of expertise, right?
Yes.
Being involved in the regional security service, right?
The man is the police for the Caribbean.
Right? So if he's saying that, I don't think he's just saying that based on some assumptions. He must be saying that based on evidence to make such a bold statement.
Oh boy.
So the question that I have now is, one, is there really a desire by the same people to see a reduction in, for instance, gun violence, the availability of guns, the smuggling of guns? Is that really something that they are interested in, right? Two, even if so, are they able to, at this point, think, because the thing about it for me is we see changes across the board in terms of islands changing administrations. So it means then, if this is something that seems to be consistent, we consistently see gun violence, guns and ammunition seem to constantly be an issue, then it must be more than just, oh, these were the corrupt politicians, like that politician was bad. It has to be something systemic at this point. So how do, so even if they want to, are they able to put whatever in place to address it?
I think they will, based on the fact that the conversation he had publicly and the conversation he probably had privately would probably look a lot different. So the way he addresses the public and says, you know, this has to stop by stopping corruption in governments, that conversation probably was the nice way of telling them. But I'm pretty sure he's had conversations with certain politicians and let them know, like, we're watching you. If y'all don't cut it out, or if y'all don't fix it, you don't think. So what is the point of having them as having? No,
I think the reason why he would have had this conversation publicly is to put pressure that he really can't put on them privately. So by saying this publicly, it does exactly what I'm saying. It puts the conversation out there that the politicians involved in the gun running.
Yeah, but
right?
I mean, even past.
But I don't. So I'm saying I don't think he has the power.
So who does?
To speak? No one. And that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making. Him like for instance, our chief of police, all them politically appointed. All of them politically appointed, like they could just move them, like.
Oh dear, we're back to this boy. This is
right?
why political appointments are so tricky, you know.
Right. So what happens now is that what he has done is what I think persons in his position, because this isn't the Caribbean thing.
No, of course not.
So what you have to do is you have to put the pressure on the politicians in a way that the politicians can understand, which is through votes and through money. So if you're not in a position to affect the money, you have to be in a position to affect the votes. So when you come out and you say, hey, guys, of course you're talking to them because you're in the meeting, but you know you're talking to us. Guys, is y'all responsible for this gun thing? So y'all gonna have to figure out a way to fix it. Like, I think what that really is hey, people out there, is the politician them really running the guns?
Them is the real gunmans of your country,
and
boy.
if y'all want some, y'all now have to put pressure on them to see a change. All I could do is put it out there from my position of expertise and add weight to the conversation. But at the end of the day, for us to see a change here, is y'all gonna have to clamor for it and ask for it and demand that there's a change in this situation.
Oh, I would have loved if he really put out like which countries especially.
Well, perhaps, but at the same time.
Because every country can, I mean, and I'm sure each country knows that what gun problems they have, right? But
and that's the thing. I don't think anyone is exempt. I don't think anyone is exempt from the issue of illegal guns. Like which like if you had to say which country, like you can
stop. Like, stop.
No, I said which countries. Like,
is exempt.
Like,
no, I don't think there's exempted countries. I just think there's countries with way more happening than some, like way more.
Which is why I don't think it's like. Which is why I won't agree with like singling out.
Okay.
Because like, if there's 2 2 related gun deaths in a country, I think that is too much. Even if there's a country with 30, right? So it really has to be. I just think what was said was very important because it's something that is constantly floating on the ground. Kind of people kind of say it, but don't really say it.
Oh, when I read it, I said, oh, he come before you for real.
Right. So I think that was very important, and probably I'm very bold of him.
Yeah,
as well.
man, trust me.
Very bold of him as well, because the truth is, in that scenario and that case, what he's also doing is passing the buck. Meaning, when people hear about the illegal gun problem, who do we intend to solve it? Generally, the police. If the police are the ones saying, yo, our hands are tied because this thing goes higher than us.
Way higher than us, yeah.
Right? Then I think that's an important thing to recognize as well. That really and truly saying, like, look, if this thing can change, really is I just got to figure it out.
Yeah, I got to fully well figure it out.
And maybe stop putting the blame on us for
things that y'all facilitating.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I with him.
I think that's a very important distinction to make. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, well, we've been in the Caribbean a little long, so let's go overseas now. And in Virginia, 2 inmates have escaped. Well, they escaped. I think they're locked back up now.
Oh, you know how I feel about this, Jade, anyway.
But guess what they use?
What they use?
A toothbrush and a metal scoop. Men in tech.
Quite resourceful.
Men in tech. Prisoners in tech.
Quite resourceful, boy. I escape out of prison with a toothbrush, bye. I tell you, these are the kind of people, I want these people out. I want these people.
They would still be out, but I went IHOP. So.
IHOP.
IHOP was the downfall. I wanted the pancake too badly.
IHOP. I can see it now. I can see it now. It all makes sense now.
Yeah, man. Well, 2 inmates in the U.S. state of Virginia managed to achieve freedom for a few hours and taste delicious IHOP pancakes before being chauffeured back to jail, the authorities said. Maybe that's just all they wanted. Who said they
No, I mean, the truth is, right, I'm going to be honest here. Personally,
okay.
Personally, I would have probably gone to Denny's. That's the first thing. I'd have probably gone to Denny's.
Maybe you had one in the area. Maybe that was all.
That's what I'm saying. Personally, so not really knocking them too much.
Yeah.
Right?
And they had much choices. I mean, they got the orange. There's only so many places you could go.
Yeah. But at the same time, my thing is, of course, you probably look on the bright side and say, we got a good pancake stack.
Hot meal.
Pancakes. I have his pancakes.
Yeah, the meal, they don't have like sausages and bacon and stuff. Corruption on the plate.
Yeah, have some corruption.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm just thinking to myself, you were resourceful enough to break out of prison with a toothbrush.
And your belly stopped you.
You got to do better. You got to do better.
The man them let the belly stops them from escaping. That was right there,
I'm telling you, Jade. One of my wishes in life
is what?
To just interview people in prison.
Because
there's some questions that I just would love to ask. Just
when did you decide? You know what? Let's go to IHOP. We need the fuel, and maybe it's that, because sometimes you're hungry as a man, you cannot function on an empty stomach. It's not healthy. So sometimes you need some fuel for the journey.
The problem with that is, right? Here's the problem with that, Jade. Yes, between IHOP and Denny's, I probably go to Denny's. But those are the worst 2 places you can go. You know why?
Like a big window different.
Not only just that, Jade. You don't go to a place that serves breakfast 24/7. You know why? Because India always full.
And not only that.
It don't matter if you go there at 3 o'clock in the morning, IHOP full of people.
Not only that, right? The likelihood of you running into an officer that just come off a shift and hungry.
They could have got to like a little dive bar with everybody in there. Like half of them probably break out of jail. I was in jail already.
They understand?
They understand.
Go amongst your people. When you're going to Denny's with families of 5.
Police with their
wives and children in there just sitting and eating. yeah. Terrible freedom management.
Yeah.
Terrible freedom management, man.
It's a little rough, a little rough.
Yeah.
I just root for the escapees, but
Yeah, but this time, I mean.
this time they probably deserve to get caught, man.
Yeah.
You can't
Well, let me see how they.
How they get catch?
According to the Newport News Sheriff's Office, the inmates using primitive tools. Why is that toothbrush primitive?
I mean, as an escape tool, it's pretty primitive.
But it's what I have. With the I'm gonna pick and shovel and so.
Yeah, still primitive.
Managed to dig a hole in their cell wall. This cell wall must be the make out of toothpaste because how is it that the prison wall is so feeble, right? That it dug through it with a toothbrush and a scoop. You're housing the most dangerous people in society, you know?
Behind these prison walls.
Come on. The inmates, after going through the hole, this prison wall to complete a daring escape. During the routine prisoners count check the evening around 7 p.m., the authorities realized that the 2 inmates were missing. See, they didn't even know they was missing one time, you know. This IHOP decision pissing me off now.
That time you say?
The 2 men began to exploit a construction design weakness, utilizing primitive made tools constructed from a toothbrush and a metal object. Those tools facilitated their access to utilities, rebars between the walls. Once gaining access to the rebar, they use it to further make their escape. So that they got a prize. Wow. What are the odds? What are the odds that you dug through the wall, find something to actually help you escape?
No, the rebar is just the metal in the wall, you know. Yeah, so
but he said they use it too.
Yeah, but the chances are pretty high. Like the metal can be in the wall, so they're fighting it. So they basically.
But the odds of them finding it so easily with a toothbrush and actually using it to escape.
No, once they dig the hole in the wall, man.
So that means the whole prison. Everybody should have done escape then.
Yeah, but these guys had the patience and the resourcefulness to make it happen. You know, these people are quite resourceful.
Clearly. Well, after all of this, see, this is why they needed the IHOP Azem. I tell you, they're hungry.
Yeah.
And then what was the moment you realized that this was actually like a possibility?
Because probably was just there one night just scraping on the wall and was like, wait there.
What is?
Why these blocks here so easy to...
What is cushy paper? Oh dear. Well, after escaping the prison, the 2 made their way to the nearby IHOP, located 7 miles away in the town of Hampton. There, the duo opted to have a hearty dinner breakfast of pancakes.
I tell you so. Pancakes are gone for.
You know when I get locked up to 3:30 in the morning.
Me and just said you. Just tell you so.
This wall here look like you make out a gushy paper for you.
3 o'clock. I tell you, it had to be 3 o'clock in the morning. But what they didn't understand is 3 o'clock in the morning, but people around.
And that's what happened. People saw the report and reported them. They said,
They mean the fellas them from the prison on the road.
They said, I call them police.
Then there's probably like a really small town. So like everybody know everybody in the town. You shop 3 o'clock in the morning in the town, like people watching, like who them they be?
And they know, I know they're watching the TV, because you know while they're eating, they're watching, you know.
I have been in that situation, Jade, where like I go into like a small town and go somewhere and like everybody watching me like, where you come from? Like it, so,
See the wall? See the hole in the wall? I tell you, that had to be made out of cushy paper, Azem. Because nowhere this is what I'm using to house these criminals.
They think... They think the animals, they think there's like these little animals, insects and things where you just kind of put something there and they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm trapped.
Yeah, no.
You have to be. Well, the box that they had, the whole wall fall down.
I thought it started doing all. Because ain't even like that dig. They just punch it and everything disintegrates.
And I get back one day is like,
Fed up in here?
Fed up in your back. Wait, what?
I could leave. Oh dear, well.
Oh man.
So let's talk about some more police stuff because this one was interesting.
Today's a police there, man.
Yeah, today's a police there. So India cuts off internet to 27 million people to catch one man.
India, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Entirely. India, you're doing too much. 27 million?
To catch one man, you know? Not a group, not a syndicate as him. One man.
What this man do, Jade?
You got to be... He had to be like a...
He assassinated the president or something?
Something like a... Like the man that they release in exchange for Britney going on. Had to be like one of him.
Merchant of Death?
Yes.
Yo, that gotta be one of the baddest nicknames ever, yeah?
You know how unhinged you have to be, right? For people to recognize that the nickname for you is the Merchant of Death?
I just think that he was probably really good at what he did.
Yes. Azem, that is my point. You know what he did?
The man was just into logistics, Jade. He was just into logistics.
Me and you into logistics?
Not that
we don't have those names.
Oh,
we don't even have anything close to those names.
The Merchant of Death.
Okay, I play with them people. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's always so true.
That's what you got to say.
You remember when I was on the tarmac and I was just hearing your picture? Yo. The world is real as ever. The world is not real.
Britney going one way, he coming the next way. Yo, G, going
What? This has to be a movie, as in we're living in a long simulated movie.
Oh my.
Cause you know what. Anyway, last month, hundreds of turbaned men gathered outside a police station in India's Punjab state, demanding the release of a man who they said was falsely arrested on kidnapping charges. They were led by a tall, charismatic and articulate 30-year-old Sikh political activist, Amrital Singh. Minutes later, a violent clash broke out on February 22nd. Of course, every Bertman. Police blamed the group for being armed and violent. The group said police charged at them with batons for protesting against the wrongful detention in a state that has a history of arbitrarily imprisoning Sikhs, a minority religious group in India. At the time, multiple protests were taking place around Punjab to release Sikh prisoners, some of whom have been political prisoners for over 2 decades. By the end of it, police backtracked on the charges and released the accused man.
Of course.
The incident made national news, but it also put the spotlight on the man leading the group.
Yep.
Thing.
You're going to jail next.
You better believe it. This week, state police and paramilitary forces put Punjab on edge as they swept through the whole state searching for Singh to arrest him. They said Singh is a national security threat.
Of course.
And named the February incident as the reason for the crackdown.
Of course.
Authorities blocked internet access, placed restrictions on movement, stopped protests, suspended Twitter accounts, and arrested over 100 people, all in a span of 4 days. Singh, in the meantime, is nowhere to be found. I wasn't going to find me neither. I doing all of this just to catch me. I think I catch me just so. No time. This is about to be a weird Waldo. Because I ain't catching me just so. All of this because they tell I lock up the rag man?
Jade, what you got to understand going on here is it's an abuse of power, Jade. Like,
You think?
It's definitely an abuse of power. Like,
Friend, that's like Cromwell saying, right? Remember when Jesus the escape?
Yeah.
That's like Cromwell locking off all the internet to find Jesus.
No, but the difference with that is they already had Jesus or something. this man literally tell y'all got the wrong man. Y'all agree with him and then walk out.
You know what?
Since you want him out, you come.
Since this is the wrong one. You might be the right one.
You might be the right one. You come.
You come. Lock up everybody internet. 27 billion people internet, you know?
Lock up the net.
Wow.
Tough.
Authorities. Yes. What's happening now is a part of a larger process by the state to isolate and target Sikhs. Parjeet Singh Ghazi, a lawyer in Punjab who runs local news network Sikh Big word jump over. Told Voice Word News. This atmosphere of fear and uncertainty in the last few days is not surprising to us at all. The attempt to arrest Singh is a part of a larger physiological warfare that goes back decades. That's wild.
But the thing is, I watched a few documentaries about, basic tribulations and things that some of these religious groups face. And yeah, like it's quite alarming, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think, I think it's kind of accepted almost.
Yeah, it's something that's been ingrained into their system for decades. Like, it's just a way of life. I mean, we might not agree with it, and it might be wrong in our society, but for them, that's just how it is.
No, they're not wrong to think.
No, but what they could do, Azem, what you could do against people that are locking off the whole internet for 27
I'm not
million
saying
people.
the police themselves know it's wrong too, but...
Well, So you go. Nigerian politician found guilty in UK organ harvesting plot.
When you say organ, you're talking about like keyboard and music
My
and so on.
friend, heart, liver, lung.
I was hoping. I'm gonna go hope, I'm gonna go hope.
Yeah, vibes. So, a senior Nigerian politician and his wife were found guilty Thursday of conspiring to transport a street trader to the UK as a part of an organ harvesting plot.
Wow.
Ike, long last name, who was deputy president of the Nigerian Senate and a lawyer, and his wife, Beatrice, were accused of arranging the travel of a 21-year-old man to the UK with a view to exploiting him for a kidney donation.
21?
21, no? And they wanted my kidney just so they can't use for it. He ain't using it.
I really don't probably needed the money more than anything.
If you're willing to just let him go with your kidney.
Speaking of corruption, man. Speaking of corruption.
Prosecutors said that the politician and his wife were behind the recruitment of the man at a Lagos street market, and that they arranged for the victim to provide a kidney to their 25-year-old daughter, Sonia, in an 80,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. This
It's levels.
This a little different now. This a little different to me now. This changing up the whole thing.
It was for a good cause.
Yeah. My daughter need a kidney. You got multiple. Give me one of yours. Give me one of yours. And not only that, I can pay for you to go get professional. Thing.
And I given you 100,000 US for the kidney.
So let me ask you a question here.
Hey, my kidney to sell.
Ah.
Oh, you gonna tell me I can't sell the kidney?
And herein lies the question, right? The moral question, right? If everybody is clear about what is happening here, everybody agrees to the compensations, everything, right?
And I was going to a hospital. It wasn't like a backroom shady thing.
That's the point I'm making. So they're taking care of this man's travel, taking care of this man's accommodation, and paying for the procedure and all the things, all in an effort to save their daughter, right? Who vexed?
Well, the victim, who was transported to London in
But
February.
keep calling the victim.
I don't know, friend. This does not sound like very victimish to me. Believed he was being taken to the capital for work. That's why he's the victim.
Oh.
The man didn't know.
Oh. Okay. Well.
Yeah. No, the change is a lot again.
If there is full disclosure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, this dude here,
the man just thought he was going to another country to work. So that was going to take out the kidney and just hand him the bag of money. But here, this is for something missing currently. Ain't necessarily that you need it.
You don't need it.
You don't need it. You have another one. However, we wasn't sure if he was going to say yes, so we just feeling still. But you have $100,000 US that you didn't have before. So, what would say in that situation? Thanks. Thanks. You're a street vendor that was relocating for work, and now you have 100,000 US. A little pain, a little discomfort, but 100,000 US Azem. You're only missing a kidney. And you have another one. No?
That's rough, Jade.
You really? Listen.
Jade, you know how I feel about like taking things up my body and so
Yeah. I take blame. They take it without consent.
well, that is a problem. What I'm saying is,
So what's the problem? That's the only problem I see?
No. Yeah, like personally for him, you asked me about me though.
Oh.
You asked me about me. I don't
Okay.
know if I am giving my organs for any amount of money.
Alive and dead?
No, they're alive. Unless it is definitely, like, I could see that being a situation where if it is to better the life of a family member, then yeah, but just random people and so.
Somebody family member?
Yeah, that's not mine. They personally mine. So, therein lies the distinction. Therein lies the distinction. It's a very big one, actually.
But it's for a good cause, friend.
Yeah, nobody's saying no good for us. You take out yours.
You see, I wouldn't, because I feel like I have a fear of the one that I'm giving them being my best kidney. And then the other one just suddenly malfunctioning. What am I going to do now? I can't take it back.
Yeah. So take it from me. Okay, cool.
No meant to take it from you. I was just seeing your reason. You know?
Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. I'll pass.
I think I like mine.
Yeah.
They've been functioning properly as far as I know.
But you know, this speaks to a bigger issue of like human trafficking and illegal organ transplants and harvesting and them kind of
And
thing.
just how we view people that we think are
Organ farms.
no.
Organ farm.
Girl fam, organ fam. People that we view as less worthy in society than us.
We see people as having less value.
Yeah.
Less
Because
value
I'm a rich pastor.
and they're expendable.
Yeah, and you are just a lowly street vendor. So I can just go with your kidney.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, and I think that has become a huge thing because the demand is there.
The black market organs, of course. You remember when people used to just wake up in bathtubs full of ice with things missing?
Bye.
That sounds like a horror story, I'm not gonna lie. I went on vacation and I woke up in a tub in my hotel room, or somebody's hotel room, and I in a tub of ice and things missing.
You got like a stitch.
Just a small...
Like an incision. Something. So, but the stitch is pretty bad. The person was really good. Oh, I hope that don't leave a scar.
This is...
Let me go get some cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter can't have that. Cocoa butter can't fix that, friend. Your organ missing, you know. Your entire organ gone.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Nah. There's so many things on my list of horrific things that can happen to you in life. That's one. That's one. I'm not gonna lie. I think the first time I saw that in a movie, I was like, yeah, me think. Let me just cross off that one.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really unfortunate that this is a thing, eh? Like,
Yeah, and it's just that this person was, these people were people that got caught. Imagine how many times this happened regularly in that country, like in anybody's country. When you have people who are, as society likes to put it, at the bottom of the totem pole, you know, the people who are seen as the lowest in society. A lot of things that happen to them and nobody does care, you know.
Nobody.
Insane.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of happy that they were able to stop this guy. I would love to know how they even figure out that this was something going wrong, because
Yeah, let's see if that's a part of the story. Let me head back over to see how they found out that this man was about to lose a kidney. Let me see. So, prosecutors said that the politician and his wife were behind the recruitment of the man. The victim believed he was going to the capital for work, and that the agreement that he would be paid. Oh, so the money he thought he was doing it for work.
was for work.
Yeah. kidney donations are lawful in the UK, but it's criminal for you to reward someone with money or other marital advantages for doing it. So I just gotta give me kidney for free.
That's why it's generally for like family members, loved ones, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's mine. So if I want to sell it, so what? I don't get it. Not that I'm selling mine, but it's still mine.
Yeah.
As a part of the rules, the victim was
Once you put money into anything, it could be corrupted. That's part of what it is. Once money gets involved, then you're able to corrupt the system.
So what's to stop them from giving me the money after? Like how you're going to decide it was for the kidney?
No, I think what happened is when you're doing it, then there's literally you have to go through some process by which you determine. You can't just meet they can't be like, oh, I have never met this person before, and I just really feel their plight, and I feel, you know what, I'm gonna give them a kidney.
Yeah.
The main thing
So maybe you're just that good of a human being.
Okay.
Yeah. The case came to light when the victim reported to British police that he had been trafficked from Nigeria and that someone was trying to transplant his kidney. Oh, so how did they tell you? The convicted defendant showed utter disregard for the victim's welfare, health and well-being, and used their considerable influence to a high degree of control throughout, with the victim having a limited understanding of what was really going on.
Yeah, that's rough, man.
Yeah, bye.
That's rough.
I like the man tell him that he go work, and I want to go with the man whole kidney. Just so, like he using it.
Yeah, that's rough. But that's part of it. Like you see people taking advantage, being predatory, of people in lower socio-economic spaces, and until there is like real protections for persons in those situations, then we're gonna see more and more of this.
Yeah. One last story before we go. Let me see. So yes, we could talk about why the world is close to no return. It's a good way to end on the weekend.
Oh boy, Friday boy.
Yeah, man. Earth nearing point of no return.
Yeah.
Greenhouse gas emissions must be cut.
Yay.
Yeah, a little good news there. The United Nations, every time you start with the United Nations, right? You just got to shake your head.
Yeah, big up the UN. I have some friends working there.
Oh, for sure? I'm going to talk to us now.
Okay.
Hey, let's talk to the United Nations and see what's happening. The United Nations has warned that global greenhouse gas emissions must be slashed quickly and drastically to avoid reaching an irreversible tipping point. The AR6 synthesis report was released on Monday after a week-long session held by the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which boasts some of the world's top scientists and experts. Emissions should be decreased by now and will need to be cut by almost half by 2030 if warming is to be limited to 1.5 Celsius, the experts stated in a press release. At the meeting, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned that the planet is nearing the point of no return. Basically, the same thing, like, man.
Jade, do you want me to tell you what the problem is with this? You want me to tell you what the problem is with this?
What?
We've been hearing this since when I was in like grade 6,
Okay, well.
And so what happened is that
Because
of the way that it's being said and it's continually being said, I think a lot of people are less and less worried about it. When we first started hearing about greenhouse gases and the hole in the ozone, I think people were even more. It's almost like as the issue increases, people's concern decreasing.
No big time, man. I tell you, we're gonna just, this is gonna just be our last cycle until the world restart again, because the way y'all going, I'm telling y'all, it's gonna happen. It's all type of things we're battling against, Yeah. Wars. Gases. The rising in the ocean level. Pollution.
People who you know what you're on about.
Natural.
All kind of things going on in this world, man.
I was about to say natural disasters, but that one might sound a little worse. Yeah, that one a little worse than this.
They all bad, Jay. They all bad.
They're all bad.
But guys, on that amazing note,
Yeah, man. Some uplifting news to end the show with.
we gotta leave. We gotta go. We gotta disembark. It is the weekend, guys. Of course, I'm asking people to, just be careful this weekend. Look out for people other than yourselves. Deal with people, love, respect. Don't drink too much and drive. As they say, the trees and the lamppost does move.
They're a shift.
They're a shift, so be careful. Big up Lucas one time. When we say that there, people probably think Lucas run into fences.
No, he said it.
Yeah, that's just his words.
Yeah.
Sound
words too.
Indeed, indeed.
Especially after a long weekend.
And I'm telling you, we really got to do better, man. Like, we really have to do better. I seen too much little fender benders and things. You could tell you just people either speeding or just not paying attention.
Definitely. Y'all buy some ginkgo. It's going to help y'all attention span. I bought some. I got mine.
Yeah.
We went to Best Way.
Yeah.
Got some ginkgo and I got some magnesium.
Oh, yeah, zinc and magnesium in them two things here. Them two things are going to do you good. You see, I like now when the little ones come in and bringing around the little sniffles.
Jade tried to assassinate me this week, but I tug it out.
Tug it out? You got this. You got this.
I think it was some dust. Some, dust and kids and... Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of,
I was paying at school terrorizing here.
Do some damage on it. Sex Zachary.
You hear him, no? Oh dear.
Oh, man.
Gotta love them.
Yeah, but guys, it's been a pleasure. It's been an amazing week. We're here in the Sugar Factory. Really appreciate you guys who have already liked, subscribed, shared, who continue to comment, who continue to just let people know where we're at. We appreciate it. And for those of you who have not, jump on the bandwagon.
We have space.
Jump on the bandwagon. And I really want to encourage people to share. I think there are a lot of people who are still searching and trying to find where we're at. So every day, I have to tell somebody.
What do I
don't do it. Yeah, I get that literally daily. So, for those people who are out there still looking, we're here. And for those of you who have found us, then of course, please share, let people know what's happening, where we're at, and all of that good stuff. But alas,
we have to go.
Parting is such sweet sorrow.
I know.
And
Oh, I don't want to leave.
I don't want to leave. Anyway. But guys, thank you so much. We're gonna remind you before we go, please spend more time living your content than posting it.
This is a weekend. I know there's time for y'all to get into y'all shenanigans. Avoid temptation. Delete the message.
Indeed.
Turn off the live. Do not forward the video.
Don't even take the video.
Okay, that's all we can tell her,
Don't even take the video, guys. Because last weekend, you were well living them videos bad. Wow. But anyway. And of course, guys, most importantly, please remember, you can't be everybody's cup of tea because you is not a mug. We're going to see you guys on Monday.